What comes to mind when you think about chickpeas? Or garbanzo beans, as they're often known. I think for a lot of people, myself included, chickpeas were always associated with foods like hummus, with cultures from the Eastern Mediterranean, the Middle East. I was surprised to learn how insanely important chickpeas are as a fundamental ingredient to the entire Mediterranean. Whether that's Spain, whether that's France, whether that's Greece, whether that's North Africa, and certainly Italy. Chickpeas have been a staple in Italy for a very long time. Fun fact, the gladiators were almost certainly fed a diet that was largely consisting of chickpeas. Kind of makes sense. Meat was rarer, more scarce, more precious back then, but you had to feed your gladiators plenty of protein. Another fun ancient Roman fact. So the word chickpea actually comes from Latin. In Latin, they called them cicer, and if you add a vowel to the end, you get cicero, or as us Anglo-Saxons pronounce it, Cicero. That's right, the ancient Roman statesman. His name literally meant chickpea. If Plutarch is to be believed, then when Cicero started running for public office, his friends begged him to change his name. They said, "You can't be a great statesman if your name is Chickpea." And he said, "No, I'm going to keep my name, and I'm going to make the name Chickpea as great as all the rest." And on that note, that's kind of what we'd like to do today. Ava's gonna share with you some traditional Italian recipes using chickpeas. These are recipes from the north, from the south, that use this incredibly nutritious legume in ways that maybe you never expected. And we're gonna start with a pasta dish that Ava is low-key obsessed with, and she's made a few different variations of it, but never exactly one of her favorite ways, which she's been dying to share with you guys. Okay, Ava, you've talked about this pasta quite a bit.
Yes, because this is my second favorite pasta dish. The first one is just pasta and chickpeas. The second one is pasta, chickpeas, and broccoli rabe.
Rub.
Okay.
This dish has another name, doesn't it? Or it's like there's a holiday behind it, isn't there?
This is the pasta that usually is cooked for the festa of San Giuseppe. In the south of Italy, in some places, it's called also cucineia di San Giuseppe. The most important ingredient is actually the pasta. This dish dessert requires this kind of pasta. Yes, also other kinds of pasta like very traditional pasta can work. A pasta that is, how you say, Harper? It's a pasta.
Yeah, you don't want a delicate pasta.
No, you want
a pasta.
A pasta.
Otherwise, pretty simple here. We obviously have chickpeas.
Broccoli rabe, garlic, because this is my Calabrian one. Spicy pepper, a little bit of tomato puree.
Oh, and olive oil, of course. Before we continue, a quick word about chickpeas and how to cook them. All of the recipes Ava's making today require already cooked chickpeas, pre-cooked chickpeas. So what she did for this video was just make a huge batch of them, but they're all cooked in the same exact way. What you wanna do is soak the chickpeas the night before in water, and they cook a little bit better if you add just a little bit of baking soda into the water. Then give them a good rinse, put them in a pot, preferably terracotta if you have it, but no worries if you don't. Fill it with water and just boil them until they are soft and tender, but not too mushy. You want them kind of al dente, like pasta. Depending on how many you're cooking, it usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour. You want to stir them occasionally, but because with some recipes you don't want to break up the chickpeas, it's best to stir them by sort of swirling the pot instead of with a spoon or something. Make sure that the chickpeas are always covered in water, so if the water reduces too much, just add a little bit more warm water to keep them covered. And then at the very end, salt them to taste. All right, back to the pasta.
For a little bit garlic, pepper and olive oil, and when the olive oil or the garlic start to sizzle, we can add our chickpeas. Now we are going to need some of the water in which you cooked the chickpeas. How much? I would say at this stage a couple of
ladles?
Yes. Maybe 2.5. tablespoon of tomato puree. It needs to be just orange. Now we let the chickpeas simmer, very medium-low heat, and in the meantime we cook our broccoli rabe. Now what I'm going to do is cut this in half. We will boil the broccoli rabe until the stem is soft. This is the only pasta, okay, we have some few exceptions, but those doesn't matter, that you can actually break.
Not only can, but should.
No, you have also because, come on, how can you think that you can eat something like that? Actually, sometimes there are a few dishes in which is used whole.
Really?
See, maybe one day we will cook also them. And keep in mind that those small pieces are one of the best parts of this dish. Every child knows that this is the best part. As you can see, they can be break just with your fingers. So this is the sign that our broccoli are ready. Then don't throw away the water in which you cook the broccoli rabe, because this will be the same water in which we are going to cook the pasta. To facilitate here the situation where you are going to eat the pasta, you take a pair of scissors and you cut the broccoli in smaller pieces. And why I'm cutting the broccoli now and not before? Because otherwise they will all be in the pasta water, but actually we want the broccoli in the chickpeas.
You mean like they'll kind of dissolve into the water too much?
It will be too difficult actually to transfer them. Find the garlic and remove the garlic, because believe me, it's not nice to have this cooked garlic instead of a chickpea. We let the sauce simmering because now is the moment in which we can cook the pasta. I'm going to cook this pasta for 3 minutes less than the cooking time that you can read on the box, because we need to finish cook it with the sauce. And this is one also of that dishes where you need to drain the pasta. We are going to save some pasta water, but we actually need to drain the pasta. So now we are going to transfer all the sauce in the pot. In Calabria, actually, we have a name for this kind of thing. We say stranghillare. Now, I don't know how do you say in English. Actually, maybe I don't know also how to say in Italian.
Stranghillare?
Yes, it's when you mix the pasta with the sauce.
Like specifically in the pot that you cooked the pasta in?
Stranghillare, yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to add a little bit of pasta water. And we keep cooking it until the pasta is al dente, which means that if you need to add a little bit more pasta water, you will add, otherwise, wait.
You've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Now, finally, I can say that I have in front of me one of my favorite pasta dish.
Yeah, if you're curious, so Ava's favorite pasta dish is even simpler. It's just pasta with chickpeas, and basically, if you imagine what she just made, but just without the broccoli rabe. So the part where it's just the chickpeas and a little bit of tomato sauce. We made it in an old video. I'll put a link up here somewhere.
This is my second one. I know that it doesn't seem so good, but believe me, it's so much better of what you can think. It's just an amazing plate of pasta.
This is like totally Southern Italian comfort food. Yeah, this is good stuff.
So Harper,
All right,
ready.
let's have some.
So you see how creamy it is?
Buon appetito. You really can't understand the flavor until you try it. This is one of those dishes where it's greater than the sum of its parts.
No, you need to make it, you need to eat it, and then you can understand why it's my favorite, one of my favorite pasta dish.
The dish is only half the pasta. You know what I mean? Like the chickpeas are so hearty and filling, and it makes up like half the substance of the dish. Actually, kind of when you cook a dish like this, you tend to cook almost like half the amount of pasta that you normally would.
Because you have the chickpeas.
Because you also have the chickpeas.
More you eat, more you actually appreciate the deep flavor, the combination, the creaminess. I will take this over to lasagna all my life, and actually I did for all my life.
I never expected when I first started coming to Calabria how much like chickpea pasta I would find, but it is one of the absolute highlights of going back. Like if you come and visit Dasa, Ava's hometown, like chances are you will be served one of two pastas. One is pasta with beans and one is pasta with chickpeas, both basically prepared the same way, but most people prefer pasta with chickpeas. And this is definitely the older, more traditional version because they had chickpeas long before they had modern beans.
Now, this is a type of pasta with chickpeas, a pasta dish with chickpeas that is from the south of Italy. Because usually you find pasta with chickpeas also in the north of Italy, in the center of Italy, but it's more like a soup. In the south of Italy, because we really believe that eating with a spoon is for sick people, we tend to eat more with a fork. So our pasta with chickpeas usually is more dried.
Speaking though of northern Italian chickpea recipes that require a spoon, there was one you were telling me about recently that seems pretty interesting.
With our second dish, we are going to the north of Italy, precisely in the region of Liguria. We already know how much the Ligurian people, they love chickpeas, because with chickpea flour they do the farinata. In this case, they are using not the chickpea flour, but the whole chickpeas to make one of the most amazing soup you can imagine. This soup starts with the basic Italian soffritto, which means olive oil, garlic, onion and celery. But in this case we need also some extra ingredients. We add some garlic, some rosemary and some mushroom. I'm going to use dried mushroom. Now, if you have the fresh one, but the good one, use the fresh one. What I did with my dried mushroom was just soaking them in warm water for about 20 minutes.
Mushroom sofrito is kind of an awesome smell.
Yes, because already the sofrito is one of the best smells in life. Then, if you add mushroom, garlic and rosemary, after 2 or 3 minutes that our sofrito is sauté, is the moment in which we can add a little bit of tomato puree.
The smell just keeps getting better.
Yes, I know. And wait, because now we need to add Swiss chard. I covered them so for in 5 minutes more or less they will be appassiti.
Wilted.
See, this one, because we don't really need to cook them at this moment. We need just to, I don't know how do you say in English. We say appassire.
Wilt.
What?
Wilt.
Wilt. We need to wilt the Swiss chard.
I think that's the right term. You need them smaller.
When the Swiss chard reach this consistency, which means after about 5-7 minutes, is the moment to add the chickpeas.
That looks delicious just like that.
I know. And then we start to add a little bit of vegetable broth. I made this vegetable broth with just carrots, celery, onion. I made them boil for about 30 minutes. The quantity of the vegetable broth depends on how thick or liquid you want your soup. A little bit of salt. This soup from now needs to cook for about 30 minutes. We let it cook partially covered, and we always keep an eye on it, because if during these 30 minutes actually our soup will become too thick, we can always add a little bit more of vegetable broth.
The smell is magnificent.
The smell of this soup that has a name is called ceci in zimino.
In zimino?
In zimino is a traditional dish from Liguria.
Well, yeah, they know what they're doing with chickpeas there. We've been pretty open about our recent obsession with farinata, which is an amazing chickpea flour flatbread that they make in Genova. So I have total faith in the people of Liguria to deliver an amazing chickpea dish.
That the smell actually is unbelievable. Now, the consistency actually you can adjust to your taste, which means that you can make it a little bit more liquid, more soupy, or a little bit less soupy. Personally, as
we like good thick soups.
so I tend to do more a dried version, but if you like more liquid, just let it more liquid.
Buon appetito. Oh yeah. Oh man.
So good.
For you and I to like a soup, it needs to be a really good soup. And for me, what takes this over the top is the chickpeas, because there's actually something to eat. It's not too just brothy and soft, and it's like I'm like eating a bowl of chickpeas. The rest of the ingredients help give it flavor and everything, but with the chickpeas as the substance of it, it makes it just so like satisfying.
I would like also to point out how the mushroom gave those umami taste that without them you can't really have. This is one of the most simple and amazing comfort food that you can have.
Oh, I absolutely love chickpeas. They're amazing in pasta. They're amazing clearly in a soup.
And Harper, believe me, they are also amazing in a dessert. With the dessert, I'm taking you in the wonderful region of Abruzzo. Now, this is a traditional dessert that they do for Christmas. I know that we are a little bit far from Christmas, but
it's okay, we'll make it for Halloween.
See, we are very close to Halloween, so we will make it for Halloween. The interesting thing about this dessert is that the dough, which is a very simple dough, is made not just with flour, sugar and egg, but we are going to add some white wine and a little bit of olive oil. The dough is ready, and we can cover it with plastic paper and let it rest for 10-20 minutes, the time that we actually prepare our stuffing.
Okay, you have my attention here.
So here are all the ingredients that we need to prepare our stuffing. Chickpeas, a little bit of cocoa powder, some rum, a little bit of honey, dark chocolate and almonds. Then, if you like, you can add also a little bit of cinnamon or a little bit of cloves.
Yeah, I was about to say, you like both of those things.
Okay, so I'm going to add both. After the dough is rested, is the moment in which we can roll it. Now, you can use a rolling pin, but the best way to do this is with this pasta machine. When you use a pasta machine, you always start from the thicker, what do you say, spessore?
Thickest setting.
Sì, which means number 0. And then from a number 0, you go on number 1, number 2, number 3. Don't do like my husband that one day he did directly number 6 and he break my pasta machine. I roll the piece of dough until number 7, and as you can see is thin like that. And what we are going to do now actually is making some ravioli, which means that we will take some stuffing, we place inside. We take the other piece of dough, and like the ravioli we try to take out most of the air that we have inside. I'm going to use a ravioli cutter. Now, if you don't have a ravioli cutter, you can also use a cookie cutter, or you can use also a knife.
Could they be square if you wanted them to be square?
There isn't really a shape or a shape that is traditional. You can make it round, square, rectangular, triangular, as you like.
So now that we have these little chickpea ravioli, are you gonna boil them?
No, Harper, we are going to fry them.
Wow, these are cool.
These are cagionetti abruzzesi. Cagionetti is the name of this pastry. Traditionally, you find 2 versions of them. One with chickpeas, as we did, and the other one with another amazing food, which is chestnuts.
Oh, okay. Chestnuts make much more sense from a theoretical point of view. It's like that and dessert, that makes sense. Chickpeas and dessert, I did not imagine.
Look, right now there is all these trendy things on TikTok, Facebook, wherever on the social media about making like the Nutella with the chickpeas.
Really?
See, but come on, you didn't invent anything because people from Abruzzo, they beat you. it's like I don't know how many years they are eating the sweet chickpeas.
That's cool. Okay, I'm very excited to try these. I don't really know what to expect here.
Amazing dessert, Harper. What do you want to expect? Have you ever had something bad from Abruzzo?
No, actually, Abruzzo is amazing, has amazing food.
Amazing people, amazing landscape.
Amazing snakes.
Yes, right. Yes, right.
Crazy snakes. Abruzzo is a crazy, crazy place. It's amazing.
Buon
appetito. All right, I see what we're doing here. The dough is so light and crispy, and that filling, that chickpea filling, is pretty amazing.
You can't tell that it's chickpeas.
Not if you didn't know. Knowing that it's chickpeas, I can see what it's doing. They're so full of protein, and they're so rich and satisfying despite being a plant, that you can see sort of the genius of using chickpeas in this. It's actually a really good idea. But you're right, if you had no idea that it was chickpeas, you wouldn't bite into it and be like, this tastes like hummus.
Absolutely not. Also because with all the aroma that you put inside, actually it tastes more chocolate. And also this is a very old recipe because, okay, we had a little bit of the sugar in the dough. But actually you could also skip the sugar and make just a neutral dough. And the sweet inside is given most of the honey, by the honey.
Yeah.
Back in the past they used the saba.
Which is the grape must, so it's this kind of grape syrup.
So they used that because they had that to sweeten, to make things sweet. I bet that here will work very good also the pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice. Maybe this is the dessert that we should pumpkinify this Thanksgiving. We made a video about it. We have an annual tradition where we ruin a traditional Italian dessert by making the pumpkin slash pumpkin spice version of it.
Now look, I can see like the kombucha squash actually being very, very...
Oh God, don't piss off
starchy.
Abruzzo. Vincenzo is gonna come and bust up our Thanksgiving.
What have they done?
Vincenzo, we promise you that if they will taste good with the kombucha squash, when we will meet in Italy, we will make for you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope we gave you a few other ideas on what to do with chickpeas. If you're looking for more chickpea ideas, definitely check out our farinata video. But also, there is an amazing pasta recipe that is in our cookbook, our newly released cookbook, The Italian Family Kitchen. It's called chickpeas.
It's a pasta dish that comes from Puglia, and it has a particularity that all the other pasta dishes don't have, which means that in this pasta dish you can find pasta boiled but also pasta fried all together. And it's very good, very interesting, so check it out.
Before we go, a quick shout out to a pasta grammarian who made Mamma Rosa's croquette di riso.
Those look amazing, and I bet that they taste as amazing as they look. And by the way, croquette di riso is a must. It should be a must in all the tables of the world.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Ciao.